Hi, I'm Pat Chalfant. I'm a CARE certified medium. I read for people and I also teach classes in mediumship. I suppose you will be surprised to hear this, but I never had a close connection with Christ the way that my mother, for example, did. My mother, as soon as there was an altar call, would rush down to the altar and kneel and join people in speaking for Christ, praising Christ. And it sort of made me nervous and uncomfortable when she would do that. But I understood that she had a very close connection with Christ, and I just didn't for years. I grew up in a very Christian home, and we had two grandfathers. My mother's father and my father's father were both ministers. And so there was a lot of Christianity going on around me, and I loved going to church. I really loved it. I was always happy there. But I didn't think of it in terms of Christianity or Christ. Not that I didn't hear a lot about that, because I did, but I could never make that emotional connection somehow. There was always a feeling of standing off, away from that kind of emotional connection. Other people also, when we would go on Easter morning for the early morning service, and it was always outdoors, and people were very moved by it, I would feel as if I wanted to be one of those people who had been there, really been there, when the stone was moved away from the cave, and I wanted to have been there. For my own need, I wanted to have been there when suddenly everybody realized that Christ had been resurrected. And other people didn't seem to have that feeling. I wasn't aware of it anyway. They didn't speak about it. But they seemed, to me, it seemed that they got it. They felt a belief in this. And I just was hoping that someday I would. I loved the story of Christ's birth. I loved the wise men and the shepherds and the star and the three kings and the angels singing. I loved all of that. And it was very moving to me, but I still didn't feel a connection somehow, a real connection with this historical figure. I think I thought of him more in an historical way than I did as a savior or a companion, spiritual companion in life. And then I began to study to become a medium. And when I began to study mediumship and then began giving out messages to people, I suddenly felt a shift in this situation. And it grew and grew because I began to have people say to me that their lives had been touched in a way that they never had been before, because they felt I had brought proof to them of the continuing life, what spiritualists call continuity of life continuing on the other side after we pass away. And I actually saw in one person that I read for somebody I had worked with, I really saw a big change in her after I brought what she felt was proof of a relative that she had known well, and that relative's continuing life on the other side. And so, strangely enough, because so many people think of mediumship as being of the devil, or if not of the devil, at least something that's fearful. But in my case, mediumship made me realize truly that we continue to live after death, which of course is what, among other things, it's what Christ came to show the world. And so I know that it's odd, but mediumship really has been the doorway to Christ for me. So thank you for listening. I'm Pat Chalfant.